wasn't the plan. Don't wanna demand it, I've done what I can. And I never mentioned the times you were rude. And I never mentioned when you hid the truth. Scared to lose it all, I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? Got me saying away, hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I don't like to leave things unresolved. Maybe it's madness. I'm begging you, please pick up the call. You're causing me damage. I should've known, wasn't your fault. Don't even matter. I wasn't thinking clear, trying to take it there. Scared to lose it all, I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me standing in the rain, hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I'm just standing in the rain, hoping I don't make the same mistake.
Hand out, she holds. It's feeling like we've been here before. We're both so broke. That's something that'll keep us afloat. Don't walk too slow. We can't keep falling deeper again. Came too close and the taste so far from pure. A rush of blood, but we search for so much more. We've all been here before.
Alrighty, and welcome back. So sorry for the delay. We had just a couple of strange tech issues on our end, but everything seemed to work out fine. We are back with some Smash Bros. Academy action. Again, if you're just joining, my name is Kevin Clayton, this is Avery Giesman, and I am super excited to watch our Smash Bros. Academy players compete today. What about you?
I mean, couldn't be more excited, Kevin. Let's talk a little bit about this team's history. Last week, coming off a loss versus Northern Kentucky University, their first competitive showing, what I believe to be the first competitive showing that any of these players have ever had in any capacity, Kevin. I mean, what an incredible experience that they were able to play in a team environment against another school of Smash players. I mean, I can say when I did that for the first time, what an incredible experience that was. And now going into their second week, we can see Shenandoah is going to be falling in the rankings 0-1, but looking to bounce back this week against Northeast State, another team who is 0-1. So some team, whether it be Shenandoah or Northeast State, is going to come out with a even score line today, and I couldn't be more excited to see who it's going to be.
Yeah, and I mean, frankly, on the topic of getting into this competitive sort of mindset, this is a very different environment for the crew battles. And I think the first time I stepped into it, it was not only super interesting, super fun, but almost a little bit jarring.
Indeed,
when you're dealing with a format that revolves so heavily around keeping your stocks, I enjoy getting a little risky. I enjoy going for plays that tend to have a high risk, high reward, but that is my play style. In a crew battle, you tend to be a little bit more reserved. You tend to be a little bit more patient and hold on to those stocks as long as possible. And I would love to hear your sort of thoughts on the format going into these matches and getting these players adjusted.
Yeah, that definitely can be true, Kevin. It can be a strategy that you need to hold your stock, but a 50% part of the crew battle is also taking stocks as high frequency as possible. So if you can take a stock at 20%, sometimes it can be worth it to go for a big dare spike in a spot that you would normally ledge trap because you're about to die anyways. So you might as well try to take one more stock before you lose your own. So there's actually a few different philosophies you can take into a crew battle, and it can be really difficult to prepare for. Some characters, you could argue, are better in this format than others. You can take a character like Rob, for example. That's a character that I love to use. A character that's great in a 1v1 format where you can adapt, but also a character who's very heavy. It's hard to take his stocks, and a character that has a kill throw and has projectiles and can take stocks very early with his big horizontal combos. So like some characters you start to think, man, are they like better in a crew battle format? And that's kind of what these guys are wondering too as they kind of navigate through this game. Like I said before, a lot of these players are picking up a main like really for the first time, and you got to consider these factors as you're entering a competitive format. Who's going to be the best for my long-term growth? And those factors are hard. It can be difficult to navigate. So that's really what this team has been working on. And as they get more competitive experience, they'll figure those kind of things out.
Yeah, and I've been very excited to see the sort of characters that this Academy team has brought to the table, because they really do encompass sort of a, if I'm going to learn the game, I'm going to do it with a certain sort of play style. Like, if I'm going to embrace the aggressiveness, it might as well be full force. I'm mainly looking at the Ganondorf player who held a special place in my heart last week, because he was very good at just finding little opportunities and just letting it rip. The reward was so good, and it made me very happy on the desk. But all that to say, there's so much that can go into this, and I'm hoping that not only will we see the intricacies of what our team has to offer, we may see some crazy sort of characters from the other side. We did get a little peek as to what they were hovering in the intermediary for the
button chick.
Yes, and so we got to see Fox and Crom. Those are two very fast, in-your-face sort of characters, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of watching this matchup at very high level at local tournaments, so I do know a decent amount about it, and you're completely right, Kevin. These are two very fast characters. Let's get right into the action. Shenandoah Kenza on the Fox against Northeast State on this Crom. And what Fox's job is going to be here is to overwhelm this Crom player faster than Crom can overwhelm him. And that is a difficult task because, like you said, Kevin, these characters are very explosive, very fast. They deal damage very fast, but they also die off stage very fast. And that's what I'm going to want to see from this Crom player. Do they have those recoveries down, or are they going to get that up B sniped out by Kenza?
And that could be such a dangerous factor as we already see a lot of play near the ledge already. Fox doing a good job of just keeping up that pressure like you were saying, but with a good get-up attack. Crom is looking to just space it out a little bit better. And look how he steps away a little bit. He's not trying to go all in all the time. He's really trying to make sure that if he's going to go in, he should get something off of it, but the counter will miss, and that means that Fox gets another jab off of the up special.
Yeah, you can see a really critical situation happening here on the left side of PS2 is when that Crom is trying to up B, he cannot drift at all. He is a sitting duck going straight up and down. So it's going to be up to Kenza to try to figure out a way to challenge that, but challenge it safely. It's a very difficult thing to navigate, but one thing you can do is not challenge the up B directly, but challenge Crom's landing when he's trying to jump high, because it can be a very dangerous up B to use. So he will often go for that option where he goes above the ledge, and that's exactly what Kenza caught there. So great play by Kenza to start off this crew battle. Will the Crom be able to adapt to the speed of this Fox as another juggle is underway?
Holy, 60% racking up and another counter stuffed out, but a side special from the Crom will be able to send Fox towards the ledge. He's charging the neutral special. Fox pulls out the laser.
Smart.
Guarantees a good amount of percent, getting the up airs and following him up to the top as another up air will be able to take that stock, and Kenza is holding on, but the forward smash will be able to take that stock, and now 0-0, but SU with the stock lead.
Yes, beautiful stock from Kenza, and that's the potent juggles that Fox brings to the table. If you find yourself above Fox, you are in for a world of hurt. Those up airs so fast, so damaging, and Kenza just not slowing down the pace as he initiates into this Crom, goes to the jab block, gonna barely miss as Crom is going to get out of this disadvantageous state with a counter. But yeah, Kenza is indeed keeping up the pressure, Kevin, and it's going to be hard to kill this Fox without getting him off stage. And another juggle is Allight, and just in a world of hurt again, this Fox juggle is going crazy right now.
I am loving what I'm seeing from Kenza so far. Oh! And a neutral air sending Crom just a little too low before he can get that up special out means that Kenza walks away 2 stocks in hand and leading off SU for this crew battle.
Yeah, Kenza hitting the thinker there after that match. He had to ponder that Crom up B that got caught underneath PS2. But yeah, beautiful play there from Kenza. I want to talk a little bit about how that Crom player was feeling in that moment. When you start like recovering 2, 3, 4 times against this Fox player and you just cannot get back to the stage, you start to get frustrated. You might be like, all right, maybe I can get an air dodge off here. Maybe I can get a counter off here to try to, stuff out this momentum that Fox is pressuring on me. But at the end of the day, if you go for one of those defensive options in a wrong spot, you can find yourself in an even worse spot. And that's what we saw with that counter on stock 1. That's what we saw with that air dodge on stock 3. I mean, there's a reason that this Crom player buffered that air dodge and wasn't able to make it back, because they couldn't handle the pressure that Kenza was putting on in that moment.
Yeah, and I mean, just look at how these stocks were taken, right? It's just so hard to get that breathing room against Fox when he's moving so incredibly fast at all times. And while, yes, Crom has that sword to try and build space, a lot of his inherent game plan is in your face, and because of that, when dealing with those 2 characters, Fox will usually win out unless there's a very precise sort of spacing game going on, which is very difficult to do.
Yeah, Fox does have the boxing over Crom, right? His moves do technically come out a bit faster, and they kind of string into each other pretty easily. So when you're talking about Crom, you want to keep your opponents away with the sword. That's a really hard game to play when you have a Fox that's dashing all over the screen, so fast. Fox, one of the fastest ground speed characters in the entire game, so it can be very hard to stuff him out, very hard to get him at the tip of that sword. And, the stock you're able to take is off of a smash attack where Kenza was, caught lacking on the landing. So sometimes you have to make those bold plays against Fox where you just kind of have to guess where he's going to be at a certain point because he's just moving too fast.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit about how SU coming into this crew battle looks like a whole different beast than last week. I mean, talk about aggressive, getting in there, trying to force your opponent to start reacting to what you're throwing out and really try to get almost predictive. It can, I don't know how to describe it beyond just mentally taxing.
You are completely right, Kevin. This SU squad is looking confident. That's the word I would use.
Yeah.
They're really aggressive in these juggles, really trying to ledge trap forcefully with these smash attacks. They're trying to take early stocks. They're trying to put on pressure. But it can be, I would argue it's almost more mentally taxing for the other team as well, because they're trying to deal with this really fast pressure. They don't have that time to adapt. I mean, it's hard to play fast. So it's even harder to play against a fast player.
Absolutely, and you'll see that in any game. any fighting game especially. The moment you're on the back foot, it feels like a snowball that is just so difficult to deal with. But I am so excited to see if this momentum will carry into this next game or not. I wouldn't be surprised if this Fox player is going to be able to continue just running away with this and keeping that momentum on the fly, but we'll have to see once we actually get into the game.
Yeah, starting off with 2 stocks in the second match of the crew battle, only losing 1 is always going to be a position that you're happy with. So it's going to be all about Shenandoah holding that momentum from this point forward. So I completely agree with you. Let's get into game number 2 here. It seems we have selected Smashville as the stage, so I don't think we're going to be slowing down anytime soon, Kevin. We're going to be on top of each other in this match.
Yeah, it's 2 characters, once again, who want to be in each other's faces. Terry with a couple of good options with the crack shoot and the forward tilt to build a little bit of space and sort of control the tempo. But, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this is another matchup where both players are sitting right next to each other for 90% of the match.
Oh, yeah, definitely, for sure, Kevin. And, I mean, Fox Kenza already getting into the action, already has Terry in a ledge trap, and this stage is so small, so you do not need as much percent as you may think in order to die off the sides. Now, Terry finding a lot of kills off the top as well as Fox with those potent up smashes, but most of the time they're going to be looking to get those really early kills off the side on a stage like this, and you can already see the burn knuckles coming out from Terry. You land one of those at 64%, it could spell disaster.
Yeah, and we see Terry going for a dash back into the forward smash. It will not connect, but that can be so deadly on a stage like this and take those stocks incredibly early. But in the same factor, Terry has just hit the go percent using the get up attack to get Fox away from the ledge. A crack shoot goes through the shield, and Fox's jab will knock Terry back off of stage. One good hit should knock this Terry out, but while he's got this go, you're dealing with a whole different beast.
Yeah, the go meter that you see on Terry's picture there, that means he has access to some incredibly powerful moves that will explode this Fox stock at 70%, and there is one of them, Kevin. That is the Power Geyser going to catch this Fox a-running, and that is exactly what this Terry needed in order to bring momentum back into Northeast State's favor. And these go moves are a big problem, because if you don't get this Terry stock off the board, momentum swings quickly, but Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. 165 on the Terry, just about anything will take the stock, but at the same time, just 2 hits got 44% off of the Fox, but now the go meter is gone. Fox has taken the stock, which means that he has taken 4 so far, and that means momentum may shift back into Fox's favor just a little bit, not having to deal with those moves, but a jab, power dunk will send Fox off stage, meaning that he is feeling the pressure once again.
Yeah, now that Terry doesn't have the go, it's a much easier time to be bold as Fox. You're not going to die to situations like that where you're potentially getting reverse edge guard, right? You don't want to have any of these kind of scrambled that go in the way of Terry. You want to keep him above you. You want to keep him off the stage. You want to keep these attacks being shielded, as you just saw there. Kenza, being aware there with the shield of these Terry attacks, and that's beautifully played by Kenza right there, understanding that Terry wants to take this stock now. No, you're going to have to go through my shield first.
Oh, wow. Kenza is playing so well so far. 5 stocks in hand, and Terry is sitting at the ledge, is able to get the throw, but I mean, 124%. You've taken 5 stocks, you've gotten your credit, and while you will lose the stock here, you can be proud of how you performed tonight. An amazing play by Kenza.
Yeah, Kenza has to be ecstatic with that performance. I mean, what an aggressive showing from them. Able to overwhelm both this Crom and this Terry player on Northeast State, almost taking 6 stocks, but 5 is certainly a number to write home about. A stage like Smashville, not an easy game to play. You're both going to lose stocks very quickly. We saw the Kenza stock loss at 77 there on that Power Geyser. That's the kind of thing that can happen if you let Terry live too long. But Terry, same kind of deal, right? You swing one too many times onto Fox's shield, you could find yourself dying at these low 100% even earlier, as we saw in that match. I mean, what an incredible showing from Kenza, able to get SU off to some early momentum.
I love to see it. Now we will have to see Terry Bogard. You have 1 stock in your pocket and go meter in reserve if you can get to that point. I'm curious, when you're in this sort of situation for your crew battle, what's going through your head when it comes to dealing with the counter pick?
When it comes to counter picking this Terry, what I would go for is I would go for safety at this point.
Okay.
This Terry has 1 stock. You don't want to be in a situation where this Terry takes 3 of yours. If you can avoid that situation, SU still has the lead at this point in the match.
Okay.
And that's what you're going to be going for, which is why I would send in someone who can confidently take this Terry stock and not let Terry linger in that above 100% range. Because if Terry starts lingering in that range, that's when you have to deal with Go on a longer time span, and that's when Terry is going to 3-stock you. So I think if you avoid that option, like even if you have to play a character that maybe gets damaged slowly, but can consistently kill at 100, like you could go for that kind of character, or you go for a kind of character that can kill this stock even before 100. I would just want to make sure that we keep this go meter to a minimum, because that's how this momentum gets reversed.
I gotcha. On the same path, you do have the counter pick now for Shenandoah. I'm assuming Terry is going to want to get rid of stages with the closer blast zones and try to hold on to that stock for as long as possible, maybe a Kalos sort of deal. But at the same time, we saw the beauty of a Terry in a small stage. It takes stocks so quickly, so powerful, and yet, I don't know, there's an argument for both sides.
That is indeed the dichotomy, Kevin. That is such a difficult thing to balance, because I have seen great Terry players who, such as Willie on our varsity team, who really likes to go small stages in these spots, because exactly what you said. If you get that first stock, the second stock flies after it. So like it's you get these like horizontal combo strings as Terry on some bad air dodges on a stage like PS2, they're not going to kill till 120. You get a combo like that on Smashville, it's going to kill at 70. Jeez. I mean, what a difference that can be in a crew battle format where each stock means so much. So yeah, I completely agree with you, Kevin. Stage counter picks in this kind of scenario, it does come down to personal preference a lot of the times at the end of the day.
Alrighty, well, we will see your preference here as it looks like we are back on Smashville, but in return, there is a Ganondorf on the other side of the screen. And if you want to talk about a character who can take your stock incredibly quickly, I think Ganondorf is the character to do it.
Yeah, I think this is an incredible choice, because not only can Ganondorf take stock quickly, it can also be rather difficult for Terry to edgeguard Ganondorf. One of the potent weaknesses of this character, one of the worst characters in the game being Ganondorf, is that his recovery is easily snipeable. You can get him out of this jump and make sure that he dies very early, but Terry doesn't want to commit to those kind of off-stage plays. He doesn't have a long lingering move that kind of sends Ganondorf out. So Ganondorf is going to get to patrol this middle platform and, like you said, Kevin, get this Terry off the stage quickly, and that is exactly what Wailing is doing as of now, is racking up this damage. But he's going to start looking for a kill here soon, because he does not want to deal with that go meter any more than he has to. And it's going to be easier here on Smashville than those other stages.
Oh, and the power dunk goes off stage. He will be able to make it back on. But one hit from Ganondorf, while yes, it will send Terry in to go, is the kind of hit that will probably send Terry off stage, if not take the stock. So he's in a very good spot right now. It's just a matter of what this follow-up will be. The dash attack does send Terry in to go, gets Terry off stage. Will we find the follow-up? He does! The up smash does close the stock, which means Wailing number 5 does not lose any stocks, in a perfect situation for SU going into the next round with all 3.
That is exactly what I wanted to see, Kevin. Not just taking that stock, but taking it in style. You saw that juggle coming out from Ganondorf. Terry was up here really high. Ganondorf can't reach that height, but the Terry player was still scared, didn't want to potentially get juggled, so going to go for the air dodge to try to get rid of that juggle option from Ganondorf. But that air dodge was exactly what Wailing number 5 was looking for, able to find that up smash, and just like you said, I mean, that hit will certainly take the stock. Yeah. I mean, a Ganondorf forward smash or up smash, you know, big moves that can take stocks very early, so you give up an ill-advised air dodge, you could find yourself in the blast zone. And yeah, able to get some great momentum here. Ganondorf, a character that is very easily counter-pickable, but you have a 3-stock lead now, so even if you have to face a bad matchup here, you're feeling very confident.
Yeah, and again, it talks about that safety we were addressing earlier when it comes to using a character that can guarantee secure that stock. You talked about that safety aspect. Well, now, yes, you have this extra character in reserve, but you're getting that information. We're going to see who they're sending in next, what sort of stages they might like, what their game plan is. Do they play relatively slow? Do they play in your face? We will have an abundance of information because Wailing number 5 had all 3 stocks. It'll be plenty of game time, and that leads to Shenandoah still having a great advantage no matter how these stocks play out.
Man, Kevin, you couldn't have said it any better. I mean, that is exactly how these crew battles work. Sometimes it's all about that information. Some teams, they like to, send in really fast players at the beginning and really try to take stocks early, gain momentum, so they can get that those reads on later players earlier, so they can counterpick more efficiently. Other teams like to keep their really strong players in the back, and they like to be able to landslide that way, where you feel like you're getting comebacked on because the back of the team was stronger than you expected. There's a lot of different philosophies when it comes to these crew battles, and when you have a character like Ganondorf, who you don't see very often, like, I don't want to say a gimmicky character, because at the end of the day, Ganondorf does earn his hits. You have to give Ganondorf a lot of what he earns. So when you're fighting this character, it's a lot about playing tight smash and about finding those edge guards when they matter. And a character like Ness might be able to do that, but again, this is a character that can sometimes struggle to kill Ganondorf off the stage. And I would be scared taking Willie number 5 to Smashville after what we just saw.
Yeah, we do see out the gate Ness going for that up special and getting a 32 onto Ganondorf, but Ganondorf returning it with an extra 56 and trying to keep him off the stage. Ness doing a good job of trying to control the center of the stage. You'll see he does tend to take a step back using the PK Thunder to try and get the Ganondorf, but Ganondorf landing on the platform, using the forward air and keeping that momentum going, using the Nair to close out the stock, going off stage and still is closing out these stocks despite not having the best recovery. He is not afraid to go off stage as a very good up smash gets another 65% onto this Ness.
Yes, this is such a bold player, Kevin. Willie number 5 does not release the pressure. I mean, just look at these air dodge reads. Try to get away from this man. I dare you, Ness.
Oh man, I am loving what I'm seeing. I love an aggressive heavyweight, someone who is willing to really risk it all with these decisions and try and call out the opponent, really put the fear in. But we do see Ness is starting to lock in just a little bit, able to get Ganondorf off stage. That yo-yo is going to be a very critical factor for Ganondorf's recovery back onto the stage, but he's doing a great job of surviving for now as Ness is off stage once again. No double jump.
This is a scary spot. Oh, he gets back.
Does make it back. Will Ganondorf be able to close it? Ness going for the get-up attack. Ganondorf playing it slow. Wailing number 5, a very patient player. Despite being so aggressive, he understands that he's allowed to be patient at this point. 174 in hand. Oh, no double jump means that he will lose the stock, but Ness is at 84%.
Yes, unaware of the no double jump there, but Ness finding himself off stage once more, and another Nair is going to seal the deal. That is such a potent edge guard from Ganondorf. Those legs are very long, and they pack a punch. So although Ness has a great distance recovery, he is vulnerable when he's charging that PK rocket. So great stuff to Wailing number 5, able to find those spots to go for those edge guards, and that's part of the risk of going to Smashville, is you don't have, like, for example, on a stage like PS2, where you have like some space to work with underneath the stage even to recover a little bit safer, because the only way they can hit you is if they hit you into the stage and you could tech. So when you're going to a stage like Smashville, who doesn't have that kind of underneath section, you have to be more creative with your recoveries at the end of the day, and Ganondorf able to pressure those recoveries of Ness. Beautifully done. And the Ness player also finding the yo-yo early in that game. That's a tough spot for Ganondorf too. This stage is very volatile, and when you have such a confident and aggressive player like Wailing number 5, I mean, wow, what a game that was.
Yeah, I mean, 2 separate occasions on Smashville. An up smash to close out this Terry, 88% reset on Wailing number 5 means that he is able to close out another 3 stocks and only lose 1 in return. He took an extra 60% just there alone. I mean, he soaked up so much, and it all just pays off because he's playing aggressive, because he's punishing these very I shouldn't say aggressive panic options, very scared panic options. Yeah. So it's all falling into the game plan that Wailing number 5 wants when playing a scary character like Ganon.
Yeah, how do you not get scared in this scenario? I mean, you have this Shenandoah squad who's not only like many stocks up, but they have this player who's just not slowing down. I mean, we talked about that one patient play that whale number 5 went for on that ledge trap, I even really liked that as a scare tactic, because all of a sudden you have to get off of this ledge versus a Ganondorf who's not swinging. Like, you're trying to react to his ledge trap, but he's just existing there. Like, what option am I going to choose that survives me this scenario?
It's one of the worst feelings when you're playing Smash Bros. Is you're sitting there, you know you're on the back foot, and you're trying to get your opponent to throw out something to potentially punish, and they just stand there menacingly. It is truly intimidating stuff, but in the same vein, a very intimidating character despite his small stature. Pikachu has arrived and is the last player remaining. Will Ganondorf be able to close it out, or is this Pika going to try to make the run?
Yeah, this is a historically poor matchup for Ganondorf. If Northeast State is holding this Pikachu for the anchor position, the reason they are doing so is because they believe this player can take it all. Otherwise, they would have sent this player in previously before the NES, because this matchup is just historically very strong for Pikachu. He's so small, it's so hard for Ganondorf to land these attacks, and Pikachu, one of the best edge guarding characters in the game, versus a Ganondorf, very weak recovery. But I'm just going to speak on this. The way that Ganondorf can win this matchup is by landing those big reads, Kevin, which we almost saw an up smash take it at 60.
Oh my lord, I don't understand how a character who is perceived, I mean, has so much going against him, can just hit like a semi. He deals so much damage. It almost knocked Pikachu off the top. The hit connected at about like 65. I know that Pikachu is a light character, but holy cow! It is truly fascinating to see, as both players have dealt a relatively similar amount of percentages between each other, despite Wailing number 5 being down the stock. Both players at 113, meaning that despite Pikachu getting so many hits, Ganondorf's couple of hits are matching in stride.
Yeah, Wailing number 5's gameplay right now is incredible, even though, like you said, the even percentages are on the board, but Ganondorf has so many more kill options in this spot. Pikachu has to find a really honest hit here and is not going to be able to find that edge guard, and that's going to be huge for Wailing number 5, not quite able to land that up smash, but any hit from Ganondorf will do it, and the back air is going to be one of them. This Pikachu player has to be able to wipe this squad with only 2 stocks to their name, and that's one of the hardest parts about anchoring as Pikachu, is sometimes these stocks can just fly.
Oh my goodness, I'm loving what I'm seeing, and already Ganondorf at 154, he could be playing aggressive, he could be trying to really get in this Pikachu's face, but he's understanding, I want to hold on to the stock as long as possible, and Pikachu's got to come to me. These Thunder Jolts have been snuffed out by the shield and have been paying off big time. We've seen a couple of times where, oh my goodness!
There's no way, Kevin, there's no way.
He got the armor too, it should have paid off.
Pikachu was able to spot dodge the Warlock Punch because that move is so slow. But yeah, for you guys at home that maybe don't follow Smash Bros, the greatest startup move in the game, the slowest big build-up punch, only frames away from landing onto this Pikachu.
Oh man, all right, Wailing number 5, you have earned my respect. You have earned everything. Yeah, everything about that was beautiful, and I look forward to potentially seeing that in the future. But we got a game right now on our hands as we do see the Wizards kick go through the shield. A good side special, trying to get another, but Pikachu opting for a very dangerous roll back towards the ledge and will be able to get out as Ganondorf 88%, Pikachu 77%. Just about anything may be able to take the stock as Ganondorf goes off stage. Will Pikachu be able to edge guard? Yes, Pikachu will, and Ganondorf's poor recovery will come back to bite him.
Yes, very nice play there from the Pikachu on Northeast State. That is exactly what they needed in that spot. Still does not like to lose a stock there to Wailing number 5, because now you not only have 1 but 2 more Shenandoah players to get through on this Pikachu, and that is a very difficult game to play. Pikachu, a very light character, can be very difficult to hold these stocks, but one thing he does have going for him is this superior movement. We have a Joker on this squad in Chiliad, and that is a matchup that's historically good for Pikachu as well, so certainly not unwinnable for Northeast State. They still have a lot of work to do for sure on this Pikachu, but with that last sequence there, that jab block into that clean edge guard onto Wailing number 5, they have to be feeling at least a little bit decent. They have to feel like this is still winnable in some capacity, and even if they're not able to take out these remaining 2 Shenandoah players, at least a little bit of momentum here for game number 2.
Yeah, I love seeing not only this aggressive style from Wailing number 5, taking his time, I mean, barely missing the Warlock punch, but I also can appreciate what a light is going for. This Pikachu player was able to get Ganondorf up to these high percents by truly sitting back and taking the little hits. You have to play a patient game sometimes, and it is that's a real factor of this game. I hate to admit it, but sometimes you do need to sit back and you need to let your opponent, like, give them the respect they deserve. There are characters who have game plans that if you were in their face their entire time, you would never win.
This is true.
So now, playing that slow game, getting that little bit of chip damage to set up for your stock closer, to set up for your end goal game plan to close that stock, that is what pays off in the long run, especially against characters like Ganondorf. So if we do see a character like Joker or someone else who is able to sort of control that pace as well, I'm curious to see if Pikachu will play a little bit more aggressive or if they will take a step back still and really just force Joker to get in close.
Yeah, that is what this Pikachu is going to have to decide on. It is going to be Chiliad on this Joker. If you guys tuned into a big Smash Major this weekend, you would have watched MKLeo versus Shiny Mark famously playing in this matchup, and they're just going to reset here since Pikachu did not know he had to lose a stock there.
Yeah,
but in that set, we saw that MKLeo was able to take it on the Joker over a matchup that he has historically struggled with. So yeah, Pikachu with these really quick attacks, his really small stature, as you mentioned earlier, that can be really difficult for Joker to attack and to edge guard, which Joker, you know, historically has one of the best edge guarding in the game, as well as Pikachu.
Yeah.
Which is why, you know, you take that strength away from him. Pikachu keeps that strength because Joker is pretty easily edge guardable as well, as long as you intercept his tether or intercept his Arsene recovery. So you kind of have similar strengths in a way. Both these characters love to play this bit of a chip game. Throw AHA, throw Thunder Jolt. It's kind of the same idea. You don't want to be in that real close range with your opponent, but Pikachu does another thing a little bit better, which is stay in Joker's face and combo him to death, especially off that stage.
Yeah, and already we do see, off of the little interaction we saw earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if this Pikachu player is going to do just that. Really play in this Joker's face and try and close this out quickly. Because if you're dealing with a Joker who is able to get that Arsene going and close out stocks on Pikachu relatively quickly, while yes, Pikachu can dance around his face, you have a character who is very close to Ganondorf level powers of back air. But it comes at the cost of a timer. Arsene is online. That timer is live. So now it's a matter of, can you get this stock closer in this situation, or are you going to have to wait for another opportunity later?
Yeah, the smash attacks are already ripping Kevin. This Pikachu has to be so scary. Gonna go underneath the stage here. Does not want to deal with the ledge trap of Joker, and I wouldn't want to either. You want this Arsene meter to run out. If Joker runs out of Arsene here, now his kill options are much more limited, but does not find the recovery under too much pressure is the Northeast States Pikachu, and that is disaster for that squad.
Yes, and already we do see Chiliad is going for a little bit of Revel's Guard, trying to get a second Arsene run potentially for this stock, as we do see the up tilt connect. The Thunder out, but Arsene online for the second time this stock. The grab does connect, and up throw is with it, but the Thunder does not connect into Pikachu, which means that now Joker is sitting on the main part of the stage and is looking for a little bit of extra credit before this Arsene goes away.
Yeah, and extra credit is not going to be found here as Pikachu just continues to lay on the damage. It's so easy to avoid these Joker attacks when you're so small. He has such little options to hit Pikachu, and that up throw is going to seal the stock. But 2 more to go. You are going to need an edge guard if you want to take this as Pikachu, because you have to deal with so many more Arsenes that come out. Even if you never get hit by Joker, just by hitting him, his meter runs up. He doesn't even have to use the Rebel's Guard in order to gain that meter, and you can see it just stacks up. This small Pikachu combo that's going to do about 50% is going to give Joker a free Arsene, and that's really difficult to deal with in this spot where you don't want to take damage.
Yeah, but Chiliad is feeling the pressure on this, and we can see already, while yes, it was a relatively long string, Chiliad understands Pikachu can keep going. Look at this. One down throw into a back air, and Joker is now at 90, throwing out the Aegons and still trying to rack up this damage, but the Arsene didn't get much value because Pikachu just decided, I'm going to keep this Joker in the blender. A Nair into the up smash will connect, but won't take the stock, and now it's going to be on Chiliad. Can he find his opportunity to control this pace a little bit more, or is Pikachu truly this behemoth that you were talking about that just keeps sitting in Joker's face and won't let him breathe?
This has been excellent play from this Pikachu, calling out the dash attack there out of the corner from Joker. This has been brilliantly played, really utilizing this movement, really utilizing this aggression. Chiliad has not been able to touch the ground this past stock, only dealing about 12% onto this Pikachu, and another combo starting. This is a brutal bridge. This is going to be a difficult one to come back from, but avoiding the Thunder there, that was the move you had to avoid there. So excellent stuff on the defense from Chiliad. Can't get hit by that Thunder there. You're going to lose your stock at 20. So yeah, we can see this Pikachu player going for the win here, knows that they have to land those kind of edge guards in order to take this. But if we see another Arsene get shredded, Northeast State might just be looking to take this game.
Yes, as we do see, here comes that timer. Arsene is online, both players having to recover back onto the stage. The forward smash barely not connecting, and Pikachu opting to just run in, go for the up air, and keep that pressure going. One Thunder Jolt will knock Joker down, but a good forward air from the Joker will be able to connect, getting 54%, but one Thunder Jolt, two Thunder Jolts, and now Arsene is down. Will we see one more? Will he opt for these Rebels guards, or is he going to try to just close this out as Pikachu is at 70%? And while the character is light, you're dealing with a character who can take your stock while you are at 116, so you got to weigh your decisions with care.
Yeah, when you get to these kind of percents versus Pikachu, you start worrying about the actual kill confirms that this character has in his pocket. You wouldn't think he needs those with how brutal his movement and edge guarding is, but he also has things like Nair drag downs and these brutal jab blocks that Pikachu does not follow up on.
Oh.
And a brutal spike there is going to save Chiliad on that recovery. No jab block is going to mean another day on the sticks for Chiliad, another chance at life, Kevin.
Oh, and a dash attack will close it out. The Rebels guard held down, but just has to let go for a moment. And sure enough, that will close the stock. I'm sure both players were feeling a little flustered for a moment there, and definitely just trying to hit whatever they could at that point when the little spike came into play. But with all of that being said, welcome to the online environment. You do have to deal with that sometimes, and still, I love how both players approached this game. Now it is going to be on a light. You have one more player for Shenandoah in reserve. Will they be able to close it out? It's a Pikachu who is considered to be one of the better characters in this game. We will have to see if this sort of toolkit can deal with SU's last player.
And I have to say, Kevin, I do think it is possible, because I believe who will we be anchoring is Robot Ninja the Cloud.
Ooh.
And I mean, although Robot Ninja, a very competent player, definitely can take one stock on any player, when you're playing Cloud Pikachu, you're playing a similar game as Pikachu Joker, but now you are getting edge guarded even harder. Your moves are arguably even harder to hit onto Pikachu. It's a very volatile game, but you only need to take one.
Absolutely. So with that matchup in mind, I'm looking to see again, that entire game was Pikachu in the face of Joker, like you said. And while Cloud has that really nice spacing tool in back air, I don't know, having such great options in Pikachu to get close to this Cloud, it feels like this is going to be a dangerous game.
It is. You're completely right, Kevin. You can swing that sword as much as you want, and it covers a lot of space. That is inarguable. That sword is very disjointed. It keeps Pikachu out, well, you would think, until he has quick attack. He has his small stature. In order to hit Pikachu with a back air, if he's on the ground, you have to space it almost perfectly, and that's going to be the difficult game that Robot Ninja has to play if he wants to take this stock, and you can't lose that stock to a brutal bridge combo on a stage like Kalos is going to give him more space. That's not as easy to get bridged on a stage like Town or like Smashville, where you die super early off the sides. This will allow him that wall to do things like wall jump. So although Kalos is historically a pretty strong Pikachu stage, I can definitely see why Robot Ninja would choose to go here. It gives him the most space to work with keeping this Pikachu away.
And we do see the Nair coming out, and Cloud going for the up special, trying to get that Pikachu off of the shield, but Pikachu able to sort of dance around the shield pressure, whether it's going behind with these multi-hits or just spacing a little bit backwards and getting that momentum going is really working out. So now you need to find another option. What is the answer for a Pikachu who is going to sit back and throw out a couple of Thunder Jolts and just try and get a little bit more chip damage, saying, if this is going to play out this way, you got to come over to me, as Cloud says, so be it, with one good cross slash to the face.
Yeah, play this game as you will, but you can only run away for so long, and there's those edge guards that I'm talking about. Pikachu, such a demon off this stage. You have to be so careful when you're out there as Cloud. You have to be so careful when you're ripping these kind of up Bs on stage, although they're very good for punishing Pikachu's attacks on your shield. You miss one of those, you can get bridged and end up in a spot like we saw there on the left. But with 112 on this Pikachu now we're in up smash range, which is exactly what Robot Ninja is going to be going for here. It's hard to land those other kill options of Cloud without limit here onto Pikachu. And up smash is going to be your key to victory. Try to call out those jumps. But for now, when you're playing this kind of grounded game versus Pikachu, he's looking for those T-jolts in, but this sword just cannot land on this rat who's all over the place.
Yeah, and an up smash still getting so close to this Pikachu. Limit is online, going for the cross beam, keeping Pikachu down low, but it won't connect, as now Pikachu is off stage. A Blade Beam will be able to send Pikachu back to the ledge, opting for the quick attack to get back onto the stage, using the spot dodge, getting a little bit of pressure going. Cloud using the first part of the up special, but then drifting back down. Now Pikachu is starting to get that punish game going, so it's going to be a matter of, can you find this last hit on this Pikachu, whether it's through the up smash, whether it's through the back air. You're dealing with someone who has been moving, drifting around a lot, and using the shield to their advantage. Cloud doesn't have a great kill throw, which means that now Pikachu is understanding that they can sit back a little bit. Cloud opting for the cross slash, won't be able to take it, but both players at over 120. Pikachu at 150, just about anything will take the stock. A dash attack won't take it off of Cloud though, as Kalos is just everyone's favorite big boy stage, as now a back air onto the shield will connect. Pikachu opting to take a step back, using the Thunder Drills to try and get close, but the back air won't be enough. Both players now breaking 150. The up special trying to spike Pikachu down won't be enough, and now Robot Ninja is on the last stock.
Creative idea there from your Robot Ninja. I know exactly what he was going for here. Wanted to get the trade on the stocks there with up B. If he was able to get that down hit, it would have taken Pikachu stock, but now you're in a life or death scenario. This Pikachu is doing a brilliant job of shielding these Cloud aerials and forcing him to the corner. You cannot get caught here on a wrong attack, and this Pikachu is just so evasive. I know we talked about it before the match, but we're just seeing such beautiful execution, and one flaw in the Pikachu's movement is going to mean his stock. What a breathtaking set that was, Kevin. I mean, you can see both the difficulty and the strength of playing Pikachu in Super Smash Bros. He is so evasive. It is so hard to hit him, especially with really precise characters with narrow hitboxes like Cloud, like Joker. Ganondorf's a little bit of a different story, but same general idea. Yeah. It's hard to hit him at the end of the day, but he does die early at percent. And although he was at 150 there when he died, a lot of characters wouldn't have died to Cloud down air in that spot on Kalos. So able to find the last stock there, definitely not what Shenandoah wanted. Shenandoah wanted that a lot cleaner, a lot quicker. But at the end of the day, they took game number 1, and Northeast State is now feeling a lot better than they were at the beginning of that game. SU is going to have to adapt.
Oh, absolutely. Not only that, though, if I am Shenandoah, you got to be feeling good, not only because you walked away with a win, but this is the first win that this roster has seen for this, like, I guess, as a roster, as this season has started. So I'm very happy, proud, but also you got to understand now, yes, you got that one win, but as you said, it's time to look forward. You got to start adapting. Usually, I'd say 90% of the time where we are on this desk and talking about matches, the team that wins doesn't change their game plan much. But this crew battle was very close.
It was.
And so I don't know if you try and get this Pikachu out early to try and really keep that pressure going, because they were the best player. Hands down, you took 7 stocks so far. It could change. We could see another player hop into the spotlight, but for now, Shenandoah's eyes are on this Pikachu.
Indeed. I mean, you don't have easy counter picks into this character either. And there's an argument that you start the Pikachu and try to take the momentum and take it fast. Or there's argument that you want to play into those hard matchups for Pikachu. You don't want to play into a character like Fox, for example, that may have a little bit more speed to deal with Pikachu's antics of moving around the stage. And they're going to have to make those kind of decisions. Do we have to move around this roster? Do we not? Are we going to go in with that same kind of game plan? And I definitely see why Northeast State was able to hold that Pikachu for that anchor position, because they were able to lock down and take a lot of stocks. At the end of the day, they did get hit by that straight down air, and they're going to find themselves in this Game 2 scenario. But yeah, definitely going to be tricky to figure that player out.
Yeah, the safety net is gone for, I mean, I don't know. There's so much that could go into this, because not only do you have Shenandoah's players who, yes, struggle with this Pikachu matchup, but also, I mean, I want to talk a little bit about our Ganondorf player, the Wailing number 5, because when he went in, right, he secures the 1 stock on the Terry and then takes 1 off the Pikachu, which might not seem like a ton, but that is a pretty big bridge.
It is.
And that secure may have very well changed how that last match played out, where suddenly the counter pick is on the other foot. Well, how that plays out, jump into another timeline with me, but we're here now. And so, do you save this Ganondorf for a bridge like that again, or do you give them the opportunity to try and take it into a different matchup?
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. Sometimes Ganondorf's matchups are more like player-based than matchup-based. Sometimes you have to find those players that are giving up those air dodges, that are giving up those weak ledge options on a stage like Smashville, where you're going to die really early off the side of the stage. And that's what happened versus a Northeast State's NECC player. They just weren't able to find those recoveries. They weren't able to find that pressure onto Ganondorf's recovery. One character that, did really well against Ganondorf is that Pikachu. But again, losing that 1 stock, sometimes that can mean losing the crew battle. And we're going to have to see what happens.
Absolutely. Well, while we wait to see what happens, we are going to take a very quick break. So don't go anywhere. We will be back with more Super Smash Bros. Action in just a little bit. And we are back with some more Super Smash Bros. Action on the Shenandoah University Esports broadcast. If you are joining for the first time, welcome. My name is Kevin Clayton, and I am joined by Avery Giesman, who the two of us just watched an amazing crew battle. Tell me how you're feeling.
What an amazing crew battle that was, Kevin. I mean, we saw everything that you want to see when you watch a crew battle. We saw a counter pick war. We saw aggressive Smash Bros. I mean, stocks flying off the board. Could not be more excited for this squad, earning their first game win in their NACE season, first game win of their competitive career. I mean, I'm sure the boys cannot be feeling more ecstatic than they are right now, but the job is not done. This is a best of 3 crew battle, so another one at least remaining on the table for tonight, and they're going to have to figure out what new strategies they're going to implement, but emotions are high. We're feeling good, feeling confident, ready to take this win tonight.
That's frankly what I was understanding when I walked around during that break. You could tell already that these guys are all like, everyone's getting together on the same page, is having fun with each other, but really wants this win.
Yep.
And so I am so excited to see now, when you are dealing with such a close crew battle, how this game plan is going to change up. Do you go for a very similar start, or do you try and force something different, try to catch your opponent by surprise, and not even risk having another close option? There's so much that can go into this.
Yeah, it's very tricky, and one of the things the team has to consider is, where's that Pikachu gonna end up? I mean, the player that objectively made the most damage onto the Shenandoah roster. Do we have to worry about them starting? Does that affect who we start? That's something that we don't want to have to play that game of do we try to keep someone in the back to play against this Pikachu, and then they just start and take 3 of our stocks without losing a single one. That's what happened to the varsity team last week, and that's something that, threw off our series entirely. So that type of thing can completely happen, and it's not a common strategy. It's very difficult to put a strong player up front to get your team momentum, because you have to rely on the players mental that are on the other side of the crew battle, who can take those stocks in those critical moments. So oftentimes you want to trust your players with the strongest mentality to take those last few stocks. But if your other players can step up to the plate and make those stocks happen, then you can get a really tricky maneuver and start that strong player.
Man, mental is a whole other aspect of this game that I actually have not had to talk about much on the desk this semester, but have talked a lot in previous years. You have to understand when you're sitting down that you are locked in, and you need to be very active thinking when you're in a match. I understand autopiloting is very easy to come by, and frankly, if you're going to, you can make a strong autopilot for your game plan. But if you start gathering habits from that sort of autopilot, those are the little advantages that lose you full interactions, lose you stocks, can lose you crew battles. It snowballs so heavily, and so I worry so much about having players who may not have experienced this yet before, who need to have this active thinking. But as we go into this, I'm hoping that we will see a very continual adaptation between each other's game plans. That is the goal throughout all of this.
Those problem-solving skills that you're discussing, Kevin, is probably the most difficult part of Smash, of crew battles, because in a typical set, when you go and play in an in-person tournament, you are playing against one player at a time. You lose game 1, you make adjustments to that given player. What are their habits? What can I exploit? When you're going into a team of players, I mean, it's just a completely different mentality. There's more factors to consider. It's a different game at the end of the day, but also similar because you're always playing one person at a time. It's so weird how Smash in team format works, but it's also so beautiful at the same time. You can take all these different angles to it and come to similar conclusions. It's a fun battle.
Oh yeah, and frankly, not only then do you get to sort of look at it through that lens, but also you give players an opportunity to sort of embrace creativity, where they can sort of build their own game plans and come up with their own strategies. When you're in that locked in 1v1, it's very easy to pick out your opponent's game plan, adapt, and then it's just a back and forth. It's like rock, paper, scissors both ways. But when you're in that crew battle, your best observations can be when you're not competing, when you're
That's very
watching
true.
your opponent, standing behind your player, wishing them all the best, but you're keeping an eye. Okay, I need to be ready for insert this player here, and suddenly you will be in a world of hurt if you don't pick up on these little habits that are sprinkled in right away.
Yeah, one of the absolute best characters in the game at showing people what your habits are is Ganondorf. I mean, we saw it in that last crew battle. You get to see the timings that players like to air dodge and exploit those. You get to see the timings at which characters like to recover and exploit those. You don't exploit those kind of things as Ganondorf, you're going to get steamrolled. So being able to have that Ganondorf player to pick out those habits for your other characters who can then be able to exploit those habits if the Ganon cannot, that can be a huge deal. That read-based character where on an online format where reads are such a big part of winning, that is so critical.
Yeah, another character that I think does a really good job of that is Fox. I understand that you play aggressive and you have your you're the one controlling the momentum of the match for a majority of the time, but I feel like a Fox's intimidation can be on level with Ganondorf if you're scared of being in these juggles, if you're in these long states where you're getting hit one after another. And a lot of players tend to get into this headspace of, if one hit connects, I shouldn't always get hit by the second. There are true combos.
Absolutely.
That's a very real factor of this game, but it gets to you. Multi-hits are a whole other thing. People get very upset when they're hit 5 times, even if the move only does one move of damage. You get hit by these long strings, and it can get very mentally taxing. So I do think with Fox's multi-hit, the forward air, and just keeping the up air, keeping you in the air, and you're like, how do I get down? How do I get back on the stage? You start throwing out options one after another. Maybe I air dodge this way, and then suddenly Fox will just forward smash, up smash. He just doesn't care.
Yeah, when you try to choose a disadvantageous option in the air against Fox, all of a sudden you're facing Fox dash attack when he just runs at light speed, catches you. You're in the air again. So yeah, that is a difficult game to play when you're trying to read what this Fox is going to do at such a fast pace. It forces you to choose these reactive options that are hard.
Oh yeah, but as we wait to see what the potential matchup very well may be, I am curious if we're going into this with the same roster, because we did see a couple of players last week who were playing other characters. We saw Little Mac come into play last week for the side. I believe SU had a Little Mac. I could be wrong.
SU does have a Little Mac. Last week we played against Northern Kentucky, and Northern Kentucky played the Little Mac into us.
Right.
So there's both sides.
Yes. A very spooky character, but all the same, plays very similar to Ganondorf in the fact that you can just keep that sort of intimidation game going, while also having the speed to back it up. It's a whole other thing. But if we're sticking to this core of Shenandoah players, are you at all worried about changes from the opposing side, or do you think that these players have got a fairly solid game plan down going into what players they want?
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about the other team switching characters. I feel like that crew battle was close enough to the point where they can stick to that same game plan. I mean, when it comes down to that last stock, you don't want to change too many things, because then you're going to have this kind of coin flip where is our strategy going to line up with their strategy good enough, or at the end of the day, can we just play slightly better this crew battle? Those are the kind of decisions you have to make. So that's difficult to do, is make those big changes, like a character change. But one thing that the SU team discussing over break is, can we bring in a character like Little Mac to do some damage where other characters may not be able to? If we're thinking about something like Pikachu as an example, where you don't want to play Ganondorf Pikachu, you don't want to play Cloud Pikachu, maybe something like NN Gaming's like Sonic come in and deal with that. I mean, that's a great matchup that could potentially counterpick that Pikachu. I mean, not like easy by any means, but it's not like brutal. So those kind of changes can happen. You just have to assess the risk reward.
Oh yeah, and it's another factor of this game. I mean, risk reward plays such a big factor. I talked about it right at the beginning, that I enjoy my high risk, high reward situations, but I play a little bit more aggressive because that is what I enjoy. And frankly, it bites me in the long run. For anyone who takes statistics, you understand why, but enough about statistics. Who cares about that? We're here to watch Smash Bros. As we do see Fox is going in first for the side of SU, but a new challenger approaches as we see Bowser for the opposing side.
I was incorrect, Kevin. They are going for the character switch here. Northeast State bringing out the Bowser against Fox. Not a typical pick into a very fast character that can overwhelm and juggle you, but certainly a heavy hitter that could deal some damage, such as Willing number 5 on that Ganondorf. Kevin, talk to me about this Bowser-Fox matchup. I know you're big on the heavies. How does this flow?
Yeah, so generally, when it comes to Fox's game plan, you're going to see exactly what you would expect from any other given matchup. It will be very juggle heavy, but a couple of niche interactions, like that jab interaction you saw there, means that Bowser is going to be able to close out stocks just like that, where it's just a little bit of a knowledge check almost, where you need to be ready for just a couple of small niche interactions, and can you keep this pressure going against this character who does need to be a little preemptive with his attacks. Bowser is pretty fast for a heavyweight, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he is going to outpace a Fox.
Yeah, Fox is one of the fastest in the business. He's going to have to find a smash tag here in order to take this stock off of Bowser. I mean, a very, very heavy character. Not going to find those stocks easily with things like up air, but those stocks do come, and you want to be very careful on the side here of Town and City. The narrowest side blast zones in the game. Got to be careful versus that Bowser back air, Bowser down B. Not quite going to do it. Like you said, those knowledge checks on this Bowser coming out in full flow. You don't want to get caught in a risky shield break scenario. And as this Bowser percent builds, things get more dangerous. Great on Kenza there, finding the landing of the Koopa. Gonna be able to take him off the side there.
And already here we go, a nice solid string. This is the sort of game plan that we expect from Fox. Bowser going for the landing and immediately called out by the side special, but Fox going just a little too low and getting called out by another down air means that he will lose that stock. And now the percentage is once again just starting to build up off of a couple of stray hits, and you can start to see the intimidation factor play in. Something that all heavyweights encompass is that they hit hard and that they are scary. It's just a matter of how they play, which means that you need to be ready. You need to understand that, well, yes, the character is scary. While they have a couple of tools that you will need to respect, other factors you can punish. You don't need to fully overestimate everything that this character has going on.
Yeah, respect is a very difficult concept, and that's an example of it right there, accepting the fact that that tech is going to be tricky for and Northeast State to find, and going to go for the immediate up smash there. A brilliant play there by Kenza, and not going for the jab this time, understanding the tough guy mechanic, and understanding that this Bowser wants to go for these down airs, getting out of the way to make sure they don't get caught by the same trick in the same book. But at 98% here, Fox dies to a lot of moves, but those smash attacks are slow, and caught underneath Town and City is Northeast State, and that is going to be a turnaround for Shenandoah, not needing to find that Bowser stock. You're always happy when a Bowser stock flies at 60. Obviously a very unfortunate scenario. Never want to get caught underneath the stage of Town and City like that, but Kenza going to be counting the lucky stars on that one. That flow was definitely going towards the side of Northeast State, but I must say the adaptations from Kenza were definitely there. I would not have been shocked if Kenza was able to take that stock, honestly. They were getting a lot of this pacing down. They were finding those punishes on the falling down airs of Bowser. They weren't getting hit by those rip smash attacks, and those are very important factors when you're fighting the big Koopa.
Oh yeah, and not only that, we did see the Bowser was starting to embrace using the side special near the end of that match, which is a whole beast that you do have to deal with. When Bowser's landing on you, you can use your shield as long as he's not going for a down B, but like the down air, it's perfectly fine to shield that option. You do need to be wary, though, of holding it too long, as you will get side beat there, as Fox did lose the stock on that one. But later on, you do see that Kenza did a really good job of adapting to the DI needed. I don't think another side beat would have killed for another, like, 2, potentially even 3 uses, which is crazy to think about for a character that is known for taking stocks early.
Yeah, very good DI from Kenza. It can be a tricky one to know how to DI Bowser's side special. Sometimes it can take you off guard, because if you're in the middle of shielding a move and he grabs you through it, sometimes you're DIing a different direction for an attack than you will for a grab. So great stuff from Kenza, able to live that move. If you know what you're doing, you're going to live a long time. And yeah, just able to take that first game, get that counter pick advantage. even if Kenza doesn't take another stock here. But playing very fast, playing very well is Kenza. I think they definitely have potential to keep going here.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I do want to address that up special hurts me. I play heavyweights. I've been there, and it never feels good, but it's the kind of thing that you just kind of have to brush off and are like, okay, it happened. You know, I'll find an opportunity to get better at it, but for now, again, mental, big aspect. We got to lock in. It is not over yet. It is just a one stock difference. While yes, Shenandoah has that lead and will be able to get the information on the next player, that doesn't necessarily mean that it is over. We talked about the bridge last game with the Ganondorf player. It could very well happen on the other side of this coin. We'll just have to see.
That's very true, Kevin. Wow. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I really like the analogy of the bridge there. I mean, can you take this last stock off someone, take a whole player, and then complete with another stock, get you that advantage in the next match as well? I mean, when you're playing that 3-stock to 2-stock match, it's such a different game than playing that 3-stock to 3-stock match. So, yeah, the bridge is a perfect analogy for that. What player from Northeast State is going to accomplish it? It starts with Fox, and then you have to adapt from there based on what SU sends in. And one of the greatest parts of Shenandoah's strategy is Fox does not have many hard counter picks.
Right, exactly. And we saw that in the last round of this crew battle. Crom was sent in, a character who is inherently very fast, in your face, trying to do as much as he can and get you to feel the pressure, whether it's in your shield or having to jump away. And yet, Fox said, no, I am not, I don't care, which means that is one character off of the board already. And so you have to wonder, who else? You could send in the Terry. The Terry did a pretty solid job of closing out that stock, but also, I mean, again, we saw callouts from this Fox player doing a really good job of understanding getting these up smashes on the platform, trying to punish the go as early as possible, but Fox tends to rack up that percent up to a higher point, so it very well could be that. And then there's the whole Pika Beast that is at the end of this finish line. I wouldn't expect them to be sent in next, but frankly, people come up with all sorts of crazy strategies, so it very well could be the next hurdle SU has to deal with.
Yeah, you probably don't want to do that, I would say, as Northeast State, because after you take this Fox stock, Shenandoah gets to decide out of all of the players remaining on this roster who gets to take down the Pikachu. So giving SU that comfortability may not be the play, but if you think this Pikachu can take anyone on the squad, then maybe that momentum is worth the risk.
Yeah, and that's a whole other aspect of this as we wait to see what sort of player they may try to send in next. We also could see a character that we haven't seen yet. We saw Bowser fresh for the first time. And you mentioned that Fox doesn't have many counterpick options, but who are the few? Do you know of any few matchups that may work out for dealing with a Fox?
I could definitely pick out a few. If you wanted to hard counterpick Fox, you would go something like a Game & Watch. Something like Luigi is something that a lot of Fox players really hate. And it's not necessarily because, like, I don't know, Luigi and Game & Watch are two very different characters. But Game & Watch plays a similar game to Fox where he kind of swings in your face, but Game & Watch has a lot more priority on things like his Nair, and he doesn't get juggled by Fox because of that really potent up B. You can kind of get out of those tight strings from Fox. It's harder to dance on Game & Watch's shield, which is something that Kenza does very well. So, and then a character like Luigi is something that is a bit different of a contrast, but it's really hard for Fox to edgeguard Luigi. Fox is not an edgeguarding character, and that is Luigi's main weakness. Luigi on the stage is a dangerous beast. He grabs you once, you can die, and that is especially brutal for Fox. He has some unique combos on him, as does Steve, that only work on Fox, that kill him at 0. I know Steve has the infamous combo of jab repeatedly into forward air. It's one of the easiest combos in the game to take someone's stock at 0. It only works on Fox, and it kills him consistently.
Oh my lord, I can't even imagine seeing that matchup later on.
And yet they still think it's even.
Yeah, right, of course.
Because Fox can kind of overwhelm Steve, so it's a very volatile thing.
Jeez, man. To all of the Smash players out there who believe that they have figured out Steve, good on you. I'm still
You're
learning.
better than I.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out, so kudos to you. But enough about the block, man. We are talking about a matchup here we will see Terry Bogard come in and back to Smashville. This is true to form a run back of what we saw before.
This is definitely one of the options in Northeast Pocket. They can retry this Smashville pick. If you recall from game number 1, this Terry was able to find that big power geyser onto Fox at 70% on this stage, and that was able to steal the stock. If they can find that before Kenza finds the stock, that is all they need, and then they're done with this Kenza player that went on a ravaging run in that last crew battle. So, Terry starting off with the early percentage lead, and they don't need that much damage to kill here on Smashville. Already seeing some jabs here on the side. If that leads into a burn knuckle, it could spell disaster for Fox very early.
Oh, but a power dunk will send Terry off of the stage. A jab returned by Fox will mean that Terry is at 43. Calling out the roll-in means that now Terry's sitting at 60, but a burn knuckle from center stage will send Fox off stage. Will he be able to make it back? He will. Sitting at 110, using the up tilt to get a little bit more damage. And both players sitting back saying, I do not want to approach either way. SU with the stock lead is definitely able to take that response. I believe if the timer were to reach 0 and both players just sat there, both players lose a stock, which is not very entertaining, but man, it would pay off for SU.
This is good for Kenza though, because now, you know, he was already at that go kind of, he got Terry to the go potential, but Kenza was already at kill percent. He wants to play this slow game with Terry. It gives Terry more time to make mistakes. Terry wants to play fast. He doesn't want to have that time to make mistakes. And now he's in a pressure scenario off the stage, but Kenza has done the job he needs to do.
Yeah, an extra stock in the pocket of Kenza, and now we will see, look how aggressive he's getting already. 39% burn knuckle coming out, and Fox is there to punish with a dash attack. And while, yes, Terry has plenty of options to close out the stock, we will see 2 jabs into a burn. It's not a true combo, which means that Fox will be able to get a move out in time and keep that pressure going. Terry is racking up percent so quickly. Will he lose just another stock? Going for the forward smash. Forward smashes in each other's faces. And both players holding down their shield. But if that one connected on Fox's shield, it would have broken. So understandably, he let go.
All right, well, we are smash attacking in this crew battle, Kevin. You know, Terry forward smash is going to be quite a bit faster than Fox forward smash, so not going to be able to find the punish there that time, but definitely felt the pressure there. Terry was swinging some kill moves that could have spelled disaster very quickly. But at the end of the day, the Terry was able to find the stock here, and now they find themselves facing 9 stocks of SU. And it's going to be Whaling number 5 coming in next for the squad on the Ganondorf. Exactly the pick I expected. Performed very well into this Terry last game, and this Northeast squad is going to have to figure out how to take out this player potentially without their Pikachu player, and if they do have to use the Pikachu player, they're going to have to trust a new anchor. So a difficult game for Northeast to play. What a fun scenario there at the end with that shield and the forward smashes. I think Kenza maybe thought that the second forward smash would have popped his shield. I think that would have been probably the main reason he would have went for that, but a little too healthy.
Yeah, and I don't know. Again, those are the kind of situations where you find yourself in and you laugh at it and then move on. But it'll happen again. For some reason, there are just a handful of really wacky sort of like Smash Bros interactions, from the pineapple underneath the stage to smash attacks back and forth, seeing who comes out on top. I would not be surprised if at some point on this desk we have 2 Ganondorfs Warlock punching each other and just seeing what happens.
There's no way we see another Warlock punch, Kevin. There's no way.
Listen, I don't want to give, you know, we are in the room with the Smash Bros players behind us, and what we aren't communicating directly with them, I wouldn't hate it. But
that's crazy.
You know, listen, hey, you got your game plan. We're going in for the win, so if you're going to go for it, at least understand that you got to have the lead, which right now you do. Terry will go down 1 stock, SU 9-8. Ganondorf, will he be able to close out these stocks before this go becomes a problem?
And you're going for some early stocks here when you take Terry to Town City, to Smashville, because this is the smallest competitive legal stage in the entire game. So you're going to have to figure out, how am I going to navigate this offstage scenario? Avoid these Ganondorf smash attacks because they kill so early, Kevin. But Terry having options, that burn knuckle especially as well, to kill early on this stage. These characters both love it. Who's going to get advantage of it as Terry is going to make the recovery that time. Does not want to repeat that pineapple scenario of getting caught underneath of the stage again. Able to find it that time. But, I mean, these ledge traps from Whaling number 5 are just so pressuring. Where do you go? This is a regrab. Doesn't want to regrab the ledge. Going to get down there by the Ganondorf, so just accepts defeat there is at Northeast State. And Whaling number 5 is going to take that stock and get some momentum here on the next one as they only have 50%, Kevin.
Oh my goodness, and in return, 56% onto the Terry player. I love what Whaling number 5 is going for so far. Look how he sits back. Terry has been throwing out a lot of moves preemptively, going for dash back, forward smashes, and the like. And another pineapple! Igloo! There's so much fruit. It's insane.
Pac-Man's not even on the screen.
It's insanity. As now, again, another up special beneath the stage leads to another lost stock. And this is hitting a point now where it's not so much a you can brush it off situation. Now it's really having an effect.
Yeah, I mean, you have to counterpick this Ganondorf in some way, and your Terry just was not able to find the ledge there. I mean, and it's hard to. I mean, you don't want to get hit by that nair from Whaling number 5. You can see the space that Ganondorf covers with that nair. It covers exactly that space that you want to recover to. But when you try to get inside of that space and try to recover on that left side, as we see Terry try to do, and you don't quite thread the needle like we just saw in this replay, but you go a little bit too far to the left, that's how you get pineappled. And that's going to be the case for both this Terry's first and third stock. So very difficult showing for Northeast State here, but for SU, I mean, only taking 56% versus Terry on Smashville, an incredible feat from Whaling number 5, and they're looking to continue carrying this momentum.
Yeah, I want to go back a little bit because Whaling number 5, again, spacing-wise, was playing incredibly well.
Definitely.
A lot of get-up attacks were called out, and a couple of forward smashes, preemptive air dodges, all of it, and Ganondorf, again, just standing there, waiting. The intimidation factor of this character, getting your opponent to try and react early just because he can hit you with such a powerful move, and Whaling number 5 understanding that, playing that patient, I love it.
Just threatening the forward tilt at that ledge was the biggest deal. And Terry can't swing back against that. There are some characters in this game who have the range to swing back against Ganondorf doing that. You could see in some of those neutral interactions where Terry would try to contest Whaling number 5's attacks with his jabs, and although Terry's jab is obviously faster than Ganondorf's attacks, if you get them out early enough, they will stuff out the Terry. And that's exactly what we saw with that incredible spacing. You have the range advantage over Terry, technically, and your attacks are much more potent. They send at an awkward angle, and that's why Terry finds himself ending up off stage in weird spots.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. At this point, you have Ganondorf, 3 stocks in hand, up against this next opponent who last time, now I'm blanking. It wasn't Crom.
The NECC.
The NECC, who also, while in that match, did play relatively preemptive. Played a little bit scared of the Ganondorf, which, again, understandable. It's a very scary man. But I don't know. Is that your response? Or do you, again, send in this Pikachu to try and just sweep out this Ganondorf and force out the Joker in the cloud again?
I think you might have to at this point, Kevin. At this point, you're 3 stocks down. You have to try to make something happen here. You have one of the best matchups in the game in Pikachu Ganondorf, but that's actually not the decision that Northeast State is going to go with. Apparently, the Bowser player was not the Crom player that we may have thought at first, as Northeast State is bringing back the Crom, who did not have the best showing in crew battle number 1, but they've never fought Whaling number 5. Maybe this is a matchup they're more comfortable with than Fox, with a lot more speed.
There are so many aspects to this matchup that I do like for Crom in terms of just having speed.
Not
but
that
on
one,
the
Kevin.
other factor, you're dealing with a very scary demon man, and Ganondorf is just so aggressive and takes a 0 to 10. We are not even 30 seconds into this game, and 2 stocks are off of this Crom, who wanted this matchup, was not sent in first, and opted to say, hey, I'll deal with the Ganondorf, and suddenly 2 stocks are gone, Igloo. I don't know what to do.
What a snipe on the jump from Whaling number 5. I'm surprised he's not on Overwatch on the Widowmaker, Kevin. I mean, absolutely beautifully played. Able to destroy this Crom recovery. That's one of the main weaknesses I was talking about at the beginning of this broadcast. If you can snipe that Crom jump, he is a sitting duck out there. And already 68% onto this Chrom. Wailing number 5 is looking for a 3-stock.
Yep, and look at that. Forward tilt comes
And that's
out.
the wrong direction. Oh, no,
no.
he's dead. There's nothing Chrom can do, Kevin. That's another 3-stock for Shenandoah University.
There is no way, bro. I would have lost a bet. I'm sorry. Chrom is such a fast, just in-your-face sort of character, which takes advantage of a lot of Ganondorf's weaknesses. But on the other side of that, Wailing number 5 has done such a great job of finding these little openings and just running away with it.
Absolutely.
These nairs have gotten so much value. I just don't know what to say. One missed tech to start things off, and then followed up by a nair interaction, and again, not even 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Smashville, we talk about fast gameplay. One thing that this Chrom may not have considered is that Smashville is the stage that you play the most of the game off the stage, and that's one place that Chrom does not want to be. So although Chrom does have the speed to get Ganondorf as the one off the stage on Smashville, you better be ready to come up with some tricky recoveries, or you're facing that brutal nair that has just been annihilating stocks thus far in this crew battle. I mean, it is so difficult to recover as Chrom in this matchup. He does have a lot of speed. He does have a range advantage. He can pressure Ganondorf off the stage. He can get some early kills on Ganondorf. A lot of strengths for Chrom in this matchup. Find yourself off stage too many times, and you're going to explode.
Yeah, and so now, with a new player like in our reservoir for what they have to offer, because Bowser was a player who we did not expect. It could have been the NECC.
It could be the NECC player. Yeah, that's the only option.
But I wouldn't expect to send in the NECC next. You got one player left. It's got to be Pika.
It has to be, and this is the decision I would have liked to see from Northeast State in the last match for exactly this reason, is that if you can't take out this Ganondorf now, your Pikachu is forced to, which, don't get me wrong, this is a very, simple matchup for Pikachu. You avoid the Ganondorf's attacks. You edge guard him, right? Recall, Wailing number 5 did take a stock on this Pikachu, and a very potent one at that, because we were able to end the crew battle because of that 1-stock deficit that Pikachu did end up having. So, Wailing number 5 looking to get maybe some pseudo revenge on this Pikachu player. If we play 3 stocks to 3 stocks, I think I can still win this set, as opposed to 3 stocks to 1 stocks, 3 stocks to 2 stocks. Let's see what I can make happen versus this Pikachu.
Absolutely. Now, if I'm this Ganondorf player, if I'm Wailing number 5, I'm feeling pretty good. I think we saw it a little bit in the face cam. He's definitely getting excited. All the players behind us lost their minds the moment that second stock was taken. But now you're dealing with the true form beast that was going into this crew battle and is the one who commanded so much respect in the last round. While, yes, celebrate your victories, ride that high into the next game, you do still need to lock in. You need to save that mentality. And on the same side of that, if this does not turn out how you want it to, if you go into it and Pikachu starts running through it, you did your job.
You did. And I mean, you have to play with that confidence, though, if you're Wailing number 5. You can lock in and you can say, all right, at this point in the crew battle, realistically, I should be playing to take 1 stock, because I have to trust my teammates that they also can take 1 stock versus any competent player. I mean, you can take 1. That can be one mentality that you take into this. I argue that's the wrong mentality. You're playing Ganondorf versus Pikachu. You better be going for some plays, and that's how you're going to take this 1, 2, potentially 3 stocks in this kind of matchup where you have to go for big plays in order to make something happen. So I want to see SU lock down here and play tight, but I also want to see that confidence that comes from momentum. There's a reason that we start fast players like Kenza. It's because it sets up situations like this.
Oh, yeah, and it's paying off in stride. Now, if we are talking about aggressive options, I'm going to throw a little bit of my own opinion in here. And like a saying treat in front of a dog.
Okay.
This was where we saw the Warlock punch thrown out last time.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I don't want to get hopes up. I
It
should
did
probably
barely miss.
Yeah, I should probably keep my voice down. But, it's a factor. It can play its part. We would have to see. I'm not expecting that. But if we're running it back to Smashville, there are so many moves that Ganondorf has that kill so early. especially on Pikachu. Pikachu would probably die at like 40.
Yeah, to any smash, well, to mostly forward smash, if we're talking about 40%, that's not something you're going to want to deal with.
Yes, well, again, we are thrown in for a loop because we get to see who they're playing against, and it's Ganondorf versus another Demon Man. Kazuya Mishima is on the stage, and I am so surprised as to this sort of approach.
This is an idea. I think this idea comes from the fact that Pikachu doesn't feel like they can make a 9-stock deficit because of Pikachu's weight. Like, maybe the movement is like a great in this matchup and you can avoid a lot of things, but can you take 9? Can you avoid that many attacks? Kazuya here a lot more forgiving. You can take some hits. Can you take this many hits from Ganondorf though? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, this Kazuya has a very interesting playstyle so far, as he is sitting relatively far back and it is being punished. Ganondorf connecting that up air is able to close out that stock, and already, look at the pressure buildup.
Oh,
you
no.
thought that Kazuya did 0 to dance? Look at Ganondorf just racking it up in stride.
That was a bad spot to Kevin. Kazuya only barely making it back to small battlefield here, and it is not super easy to take this stock here as Kazuya either. You have to find a clean electric onto this. Ganondorf is only going to get the Wind Fist there, and is going to get punished with a side B, and the damage is just racking up. If you get to 100, you may have to deal with something like a Rage Drive. You have to figure out whether or not use that on this stock or the next. Not going to have to find the electric, but does not get the double jump on the up B. Ganondorf is going to live another day, and at 150, so many attacks now from Ganondorf are going to do the trick due to that rage mechanic that makes your attacks deal more knockback, and almost finds the up air, but a great swing by Kazuya.
Oh, but a very dangerous 4-hit combo will mean that now he is off stage. Kazuya is on the ledge, does have the kill move, but it won't do anything, as now Kazuya is at 1 stock. A character who is known, again, to take stock so incredibly early is struggling to take out Ganondorf, sitting at 200%. 1 down throw into the dash attack, into a nair. Will he be able to close it? Goes off stage, but won't get a follow-up. Just about anything will be able to close it, as both players are trying to space each other out, and Kazuya is sitting back just a little bit, again, trying to really play this safe, but the electric into the up special will close it.
Yeah, finally finds the kill confirmed there, but at what cost? Another combo is going to be on the table, doing 40% to this Ganondorf, but finding yourself at the ledge again. This is not where you want to be versus Wailing number 5. He's been so potent in this spot, but thankfully, Pikachu not having access to electric out of the corner, going to be able to find his way out of there,
no.
and another big combo on this Kazuya. That's going to be your ticket to victory here. Can you land one more? The Hell's Gate coming out. This is not where Ganondorf wants to be. A neutral air might just seal it. Doesn't get fair. Gets neutral instead, and that means Ganondorf is going to be able to come back. Reads the tech option. Will he read another one? Gets a forward tilt. Back off stage goes Kazuya. Is going to have access to the Rage Drive here, but one more hit from Ganondorf will seal it. What will happen?
Oh man, Rage Drive is active and it already has gone for it once. One more use will get rid of it, but it does connect. And Ganondorf is at 100 and sent to the heavens. Kazuya does walk away, taking out the one demon of Wailing number 5 with a demon of their own. But at what cost? 1 stock remaining on Kazuya and 2 players for the side of SU. We're in for a ride.
I mean, what a great performance from Wailing number 5. Just want to highlight that player one more time. I mean, amazing on this Ganondorf. Able to take tough matchups and face them head on. Able to avoid these electric combos from Kazuya. A lot of these things that give Ganondorf trouble. Not dying to a super well-timed Hell's Gate at the end there. Understanding the recovery route you had to take in that spot. Able to live that tricky scenario. And because of that, able to find such a great lead for Shenandoah here. And this Kazuya pick, although it made a lot of sense, you're able to live a decent amount of time. Yeah, these edge guards were just so good from Wailing number 5. You ended up dying at the same percentage you would as Pikachu just because of the great plays Wailing number 5 was able to make.
We've talked a lot about fear on this desk, and not only that, it plays into this factor of who's controlling the tempo of the match. If you're afraid of someone, the opponent will be controlling that pace. And while I would say Kazuya is the type of character who can control how a match is playing for the entire time, whether you have the ranged options to deal with him or not, you're playing around the fact that he has the kit to deal with you the moment you are close. on the other side of that, I think this Kazuya still felt the intimidation.
Absolutely.
There were a lot of lasers at the beginning. And, like, don't get me wrong, the laser was nice, and it got a lot of damage. But I think that played into what Wailing number 5 wanted, because it just sort of clicked. Like, wait a second. You could be playing super aggressive. You could be in my face, and we could be boxing, and yet you're sitting away from me. Which means that you're going to be drifting away, which means that the up airs were connecting, and a lot of these off-stage interactions were happening. I just think it all fell into place off of just the first couple of seconds of that game.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you show your cards at the beginning of the game. What type of game are you going to play? Are you going to play a game that's very fast? Are you going to sit at the ledge and try to fish for things like Hell's Gate, where you try to push the opponent off the stage, try to get big kills that way? I mean, there's multiple ways you could play it. Ganondorf's a really big character. You can run in, try to play this boxing game, try to contest his slow moves that come out, try to beat him to the punch in a sense. Or you can, try to stand back, but when you're standing back, you're closer to the ledge. If you get hit by one stray hit, all of a sudden you're now off stage. You have to face Ganondorf Nair, you have to face Ganondorf F-tilt. I mean, what a tricky spot to play, and an even trickier spot to play is playing one stock Kazuya, because now, even if you manage to get some big combos, some big damage, you get over that 100% threshold, you have one Rage Drive to use per 3 stocks of the opponent. And I think that's one of the most interesting dynamics, because that is a move that if you have 3 stocks, you have access to 3 of them. That's one of your, most scary, that most fearful kill option. It does 40% raw and kills most characters at around that 80-90% mark. So having only access to one of those, you're going to have to find your kills in other methods. And although those electrics were being found by this Kazuya player, sometimes those up Bs were not always on point. So if you're going to clean up this kill power on this Kazuya, you're going to have to hit those kill confirms, because you're only going to have access to one Rage Drive.
Yeah, which brings us into the matchup that Shenandoah has. You got 2 options from what we have played so far. You have Joker, who, again, taking my own little perspective on this, shout out to Moon Lady, because that matchup felt awful when I was playing Kazuya. So, like, I could see it. But on the other side of that coin, if you're dealing with someone who wants to get incredibly close, and you have a giant sword that can keep him at a distance, I think there's an argument for both, but I don't know which one you send in first.
Yeah, it's tricky. The biggest difficulty for Cloud in this matchup is the same difficulty for Ganondorf, which is that Hell's Gate command grab. I mean, Cloud having that straight vertical recovery and not a lot of wiggle room for error. You can just kind of sit at the ledge as Kazuya and not feel super threatened. You feel like you have this big potent thing that Cloud has to be worried about. Joker, on the other side of the coin, has a lot more fluid movement, is going to be able to find big edge guards on stages like Smashville, where Kazuya is going to spend a lot of time off stage. Kazuya is going to need to take 2 stocks. Luckily, Chile did not take any damage there, so we don't have to reset the match. But getting a little over-ambitious there, and you see this very fast playstyle of Northeast State. He's maybe going to not sit back with the lasers this time. Never mind, he's going to sit back with the laser this time. Not expecting any kind of Rebels Guard action. Going to get right into it. You want to fish for some trades here off the bat, and Kazuya starting off strong.
Yeah, this is the sort of game plan I expect when I see a Kazuya, which is a little bit more aggressive. We're seeing up tilts into electric, and while he's rolling back, and yes, using that laser, once he is in this boxing range, we do see a little bit more success. The up tilt not connecting there, able to, or allows Joker to get a little bit of percent. Arsene online, and while, yes, it is a strong factor, I wouldn't say Kazuya is at the percent to lose this stock just yet, as he is probably, I think, top 5, maybe top 6 heaviest characters in this game, which is a huge factor to take into play. But Joker does lose 1 stock, but with not, did get 86% in return.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be in this spot still as Kazuya. Like, sure, you have some kind of fear factor, but this is a percent that you can certainly die to some fair 1 confirms at, and certainly die to some back airs off stage, but the Hell's Gate is going to come out. We are not Cloud, though, not scared of not being able to make it back just yet. Going for an aggressive ledge trap here, wants to find this stock as soon as possible, doesn't want this Joker stock to be on any longer, and there is the 1 Rage Drive that Northeast State is going to have access to. Going to rip it right away, and that's going to be able to be the stock stock that gets Arsene off the table, and that's the biggest deal for Northeast State here. You don't want that Arsene for this stock. Big electric combo coming out from Kazuya. This is definitely still doable. Another Arsene may be on the table, but no Race Drive is going to be able to take it off this time.
Yes, Kazuya Mishima doing what Kazuya does best. An up smash will connect from Gilead, but it won't be enough just yet. Another up tilt with Arsene will be able to close it. And a little bit of a pop-up say, what in the world? You can't be air dodging on me. Are you kidding me? And that secures it. That means Shenandoah walks away. The Academy team walks away with their first win of the NACE season.
Yes, big congrats to Shenandoah Academy Smash for their first win of the NACE season. I mean, what a treat of a crew battle that was to watch. Might I say a strong win for Shenandoah. That first crew battle obviously going down to the last stock, but the adjustment made on that second crew battle was able to be much more clean, ending that with a 6-0 victory. That's so strong for Shenandoah Smash. So thank you guys for tuning in to Shenandoah Smash. Don't go anywhere because we're just taking a short break and we'll be right back with some Shenandoah Academy Rocket League. I mean, Kevin, what an never mind. We are not going to a Shenandoah Academy Rocket League game. I thought that we still had that on the table, but we are actually ending stream for tonight. So thank you guys so much for joining us. I mean, what a crew battle series that was. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night and join us next time for some more Shenandoah Esports.